Sometimes see a disconnect when individual spending items are approved throughout the year, but the final budget funding them is opposed. As mayor, how will you improve the budgeting process so that the direct connection between year-round spending choices and the final budget is transparent to everyone?
Well, I think the last question, if we solve some of those communication problems, that's going to solve a lot of that on the front end, and even months before that. You know, it's all the meetings and things we've been going to, you know, it gets really crucial in that March, April, May, you're getting closer to July. So opening up those communication lines certainly is going to solve some of that issue, but to truly connect with the people, be it commissioners, mayor, and all that, which the communication comes with trust. All the people I've talked to, and just what you're alluding to, is truly a trust factor. And with that initial communication and consistent communication over years, that solves all those problems. It solves all the trust issues. It solves the dissemination of information issues. And so I think being on the front end and explaining things and having a better website, we have more access to more information. All the people in the county have more access to information. I think that solves all those problems. You know, so even when there is an issue, we know who to talk to. We know which arms to twist and things, and know what commissioners and the mayor that we can trust. We're going to have a sit down for that. So I think that open transparency and consistent communication solves all those problems.
All right, Glen Douglas.
I've thought about this one for quite some time. Right here is a copy of the budget, 65 pages long. That'll be on the website, and it'll be updated quarterly so that we know exactly where our money's coming in and our money's going out. That should be on the website to have a fair and transparent government. They should be able to, each commissioner ought to be able to get this, be able to transfer any information they need to any one of their constituents. This way it takes and it builds trust for the county government again. Instead of us making decisions for everybody out there, we'll have everybody out there let us know what decisions they prefer and what they disagree with.
Frassrand.
Yeah, as far as being transparent, I mean, putting the budget out there, like we talked about earlier, the website does need to be revamped. I mean, it's hard to find some information or get the information on there, but put all the budget information out there. That way our constituents, the commissioners know what's going on, they can see where it's at, they can bring the vote for it, because the commissioners are the one that has to make the changes to the budget and bring that out there and bring it in forth for everybody. So once they understand it, they get more feedback from the commissioners. Then we up here, I mean, we guide and hopefully advise, you know, which way it needs to go. But more transparency on the budget and where everybody sees where the money's going, it makes everybody happy. I know it makes my wife happy whenever she sees where I spend my money at. Thank you.
All right, Daniel Eldridge.
Can you repeat that question, please, Steve?
Okay, taxpayers sometimes see a disconnect when individual spending items are approved throughout the year, but the final budget funding them is opposed. As a mayor, how will you improve the budgeting process so that the direct connection between year-round spending choices and the final budget is transparent to everyone?
Okay, thank you. I think what you're getting at there is inconsistency. One of the things, I had a friend that recommended to me, I don't know if he was serious or not, but he said we ought to tie half the pay for the county commissioners to their county commission meeting and the other half to the budget committee. If you show up at the budget committee, you get half the pay. It's probably not a bad idea. I don't know if it's legal, but it's a good idea. A lot happens in that budget committee, and all the commissioners should be there. Unfortunately, they're not, but there are a few that are there very consistently. It's important. But I think to what your question was alluding to is there's just this inconsistency in the way we talk about spending in the budget items. I don't mean anything negative. I heard our last week's session here with the county commission, and they all did a great job. I did notice that the question came about, do you want to cut spending? And down the line, everybody, yes, we want to cut spending, we want to cut spending. And then the question was, do you want to cut nonprofits? And they all said, no, we don't want to cut nonprofits. I'm not saying that's good or bad, but that's an inconsistency. So we've got to really do a better job throughout the year of tracking those budget items. If it's not budgeted in the beginning of the year, it shouldn't get paid for throughout the year unless there is an emergency item. And if that's the case, everybody needs to discuss it in budget meetings. The public needs to be aware of it. But if it's a budget item, we need to stay within those line items throughout the year, and then we can readdress it every year in the spring when the budget hearings start.
All right, thank you, sir.